I was carving the Mother's Day roast when my millionaire son asked the question that changed everything. "Dad, are you happy with the $5,000 Michelle sends you every month?" I nearly dropped the knife. My name is Harold Coleman. I'm 68 years old, and I've been a widower for 9 years now. I live alone in a small house on the outskirts of Dallas, Texas. This place used to echo with laughter when my wife, Sarah, and I raised our boy Timothy here. After Sarah passed from cancer, I learned to slow down. I tend my garden, fix things around the house, and help out at St. Mary's Church down the street. I don't need much, but everything costs more these days, and my social security doesn't stretch like it used to. Timothy, my son, is 42 now and owns a construction company. 3 locations across Texas, brand new trucks, lives in a big house in the fancy part of town. I'm proud of him. I taught him how to work with his hands in my garage, and he turned that into something bigger than I ever dreamed. So when he showed up that Sunday afternoon with flowers and a smile, I was glad to see him. The roast was perfect, the way Sarah used to make it. I'd set the table with her good china, the stuff we only used for special occasions. Timothy looked tired but happy, loosening his tie as he sat down. "This smells incredible, Dad. Just like Mom's." I smiled, carving thick slices. She taught me everything I know about cooking. Said a man should be able to feed himself properly. We talked about normal things at first. His business was doing well, too well actually. More contracts than he could handle. Thinking about expanding to Austin. I told him about the new tomatoes I'd planted, how Pastor Williams was doing after his hip surgery. Then out of nowhere, Timothy set down his fork and looked at me seriously. "Dad, my wife still sends you $50,000 every month, right? I just want to make sure you're comfortable." Those words hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. My heart started racing, and I gripped the carving knife so tight my knuckles went white. $5,000? For the past 8 months, I'd been eating donated food from the church pantry and clipping every coupon I could find. Last week, I'd stood in line at the food bank behind Mrs. Garcia from down the street, both of us pretending we didn't see each other. "Son," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "The church is helping me get by these days." Timothy's smile disappeared like someone had switched off a light. He looked confused, then concerned, then something else I couldn't quite read. "What do you mean?" "Michelle brings you the money every month. I've been transferring it to her account specifically for that." That's when she walked in. Michelle Coleman, my daughter-in-law, floating through the dining room doorway like she owned the place. She was wearing a silk dress the color of champagne, heels that clicked against the hardwood floor, and carrying a designer handbag that probably cost more than I spent on groceries in 3 months. "Happy Mother's Day, Dad," she said, giving me that perfect smile of hers. Everything about Michelle was perfect. Her hair, her makeup, her clothes. Even the way she moved seemed calculated. I stared at her. If you brought money, I'd remember it. The room went dead quiet, except for the old grandfather clock ticking in the corner. That clock was a wedding gift from Sarah's parents, and right now it sounded like a countdown to something. Timothy looked between us, his face getting red. "Michelle, you have been bringing Dad the money, right? I transfer $5,000 to your account on the 15th of every month specifically for this." Michelle tilted her head and gave that innocent look she was so good at. "Of course, honey. Maybe Dad just forgot. You know how it is with older folks sometimes." Those words, older folks, hit me like a slap, like I was some confused old man who couldn't keep track of his own life. I'd heard that tone before from store clerks who thought I couldn't figure out the credit card machine, from doctors who talked about me instead of to me. But I knew exactly what came through my door and what didn't. I knew every penny of my monthly Social Security check, every bill that came in the mail, every can of soup the church ladies brought by. And Michelle had never, not once, brought me any money. "I think I'd remember $5,000, I said quietly. Michelle laughed, a sound like crystal breaking. "Oh, Dad, I've definitely been bringing it. Maybe you put it somewhere safe and forgot. Sometimes when we get older, I'm not that old, Michelle." Timothy stood up from the table, his chair scraping against the floor. "Hold on. Let's just figure this out. Dad, when was the last time you saw any money from us?" I looked at my son. This man I'd raised to be honest and hard-working, and saw genuine confusion in his eyes. He really believed Michelle had been taking care of me. For a moment I wondered if maybe I was losing my mind. Maybe the money had come and I'd forgotten. Maybe I really was just a confused old man. But then I looked at Michelle's designer dress, her expensive jewelry, her perfect manicure. I thought about standing in line at the food bank, about eating canned soup for dinner because fresh vegetables were too expensive. Son, I said, I haven't seen a dime from either of you in 8 months. If Michelle says she's been bringing money, then somebody's lying, and it's not me. The grandfather clock kept ticking, marking time in a room where everything had just changed forever. After they left, I sat alone at that dining room table for what felt like hours. The roast had gone cold. Sarah's good china still held half-eaten food, and the house felt emptier than it had since the day she died. The silence was so thick I could hear my own heartbeat. I walked out to my garage, the place where I'd always done my best thinking. 45 years I'd worked with my hands in places like this, fixing things that were broken, solving problems that stumped other people. The tools were still there, hanging in their proper places on the pegboard. Sarah had painted yellow to brighten up the space. $5,000 a month for 8 months. That's $40,000, enough money to fix the leak in my roof that had me putting buckets out every time it rained. Enough to replace the refrigerator that wheezed like an old dog. Enough to buy groceries without checking every price twice. I pulled out an old notebook from my workbench drawer, one I'd used years ago to track car repairs. If someone was lying about money, I was going to find out who and how. I started writing everything I could remember about Michelle's visits over the past months. The next morning, I put on my best shirt and drove to First Texas Bank, where I'd kept my account for 25 years. The parking lot was full of people younger than Timothy, all dressed in business suits and checking their phones. I felt out of place, but I'd been feeling out of place a lot lately. Inside, I waited in line behind a woman arguing about overdraft fees and a young man depositing what looked like a paycheck bigger than my monthly Social Security. When my turn came, I approached the teller, a pleasant young woman named Amy who'd helped me before. Morning, Mr. Coleman. How can I help you today? I need to check if there have been any deposits to my account from my son, Timothy Coleman. He thinks he's been sending me money, but I haven't seen any. Amy's fingers clicked across her keyboard, her brow furrowing as she read the screen. Mr. Coleman, I'm showing your Social Security deposit on the 3rd of each month, but no other regular deposits, no transfers from Timothy Coleman or anyone else. The words hit me like cold water. Nothing at all. No, sir. Would you like me to print out your statements for the past year? I nodded, watching the printer spit out page after page of evidence. Numbers don't lie. My account showed the same pattern every month. Social Security in, utilities out, groceries, gas, church donation. No mysterious $5,000 payments, no unexplained windfalls. Back home, I spread the bank statements across my kitchen table next to a cup of coffee that had gone cold while I studied them. The patterns were clear as day. Whatever Timothy thought he was sending me, it wasn't reaching my account. That afternoon, I swallowed my pride and called Timothy's company. After getting transferred around by people who probably made more in a week than I saw in a month, I finally reached someone who could help. Coleman Construction, this is Benjamin Parker, head of accounting. How can I assist you, Mr. Parker? This is Harold Coleman, Timothy's father. I have a question about some financial transfers. There was a pause. Mr. Coleman, I can't discuss specific financial details, but I can confirm that monthly transfers have been authorized from your son's personal account. The recipient name matches yours. But, another pause. The account number is different from the one we have on file for you. My blood ran cold. Different how? It appears to be an account opened under your name, but at a different bank. I assumed it was a new account you'd requested. After hanging up, I sat staring at the phone for a long time. Someone had opened a bank account using my name. Someone close enough to know my personal information, smart enough to intercept money meant for me, and cold enough to watch me struggle while they spent it. I drove over to St. Mary's Church, where I'd been a member for 15 years. Pastor Nathan Williams was in his office, working on Sunday's sermon. Nathan was a good man, maybe 55, who'd seen enough of life to know when someone was carrying a heavy burden. Harold, he said, looking up from his computer. You look troubled. I told him everything. The money Timothy thought he'd been sending, Michelle's denials, the bank statements that showed nothing. Nathan listened without interrupting, his face growing more serious with each detail. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair and shook his head. Harold, this sounds like elder financial abuse. I've seen it before, unfortunately. Family members who take advantage of trust. He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a business card. You need to talk to Jennifer Anderson. She's an attorney who specializes in these cases. I looked at the card. Jennifer Anderson, elder law attorney. I don't know if I can afford a lawyer. Jennifer's good people. She'll work with you. And Harold? Nathan's voice was gentle but firm. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're imagining this. You're one of the sharpest men I know. That evening, I called the number on the card. A professional voice answered, even though it was past normal business hours. Anderson Law, Jennifer speaking. Miss Anderson, my name is Harold Coleman. Pastor Williams gave me your number. I think someone in my family has been stealing money meant for me. Mr. Coleman, can you meet me tomorrow morning at 9? Bring any documentation you have. Bank statements, any written communications. Anything that shows the pattern of what's supposed to be happening versus what actually is. How much will this cost me? Initial consultation is free. If we take the case, we'll work out payment. Don't worry about that right now. Focus on getting me the facts. After hanging up, I walked through the house Sarah and I had shared for 35 years. Every room held memories of better times, Timothy's high school graduation pictures, family Christmas mornings, quiet evenings, when Sarah would read while I worked on small projects. I stopped at the kitchen table where I'd spread out all those bank statements. Numbers don't lie, but people do. And tomorrow, I was going to start finding out exactly who was lying to me. Jennifer Anderson's office was nothing like what I expected. Instead of fancy furniture and intimidating law books, it felt more like someone's living room, comfortable chairs, family photos on the desk, and a coffee pot that actually smelled like good coffee. Jennifer herself was probably in her early 50s, with graying hair and the kind of direct gaze that said she'd heard every sob story and spotted every lie. She poured me a cup of coffee and sat across from me with a yellow legal pad. Tell me everything, Mr. Coleman. Start from the beginning. I laid out the bank statements, told her about Timothy's surprise at dinner, described Michelle's reaction. Jennifer took notes, asking questions that cut straight to the heart of things. How long has your son been married to Michelle? 4 years this fall. Any financial problems you know of? Gambling, shopping addiction, anything like that? I thought about Michelle's expensive clothes, the new jewelry I'd noticed over the past year. She always looks like she stepped out of a magazine. Designer everything. Jennifer nodded like this confirmed something she already suspected. I'm going to need you to do some detective work, Harold. Can you handle that? What kind of detective work? I want you to document every interaction you have with Michelle from now on. Dates, times, what she says, what she brings or doesn't bring. Keep a journal. Also, I need you to contact your son's accountant. What was his name? Benjamin Parker, right. We need to see those transfer records, all of them. She leaned forward. Harold, this sounds like classic elder financial abuse. Someone's opened an account in your name and is intercepting money meant for your care. That's a felony. The word felony hung in the air like smoke. I'd never been involved in anything criminal in my life. Even my parking tickets were paid on time. What happens next? We gather evidence. Lots of it. Then we present Michelle with a choice, make restitution voluntarily, or face criminal charges. Jennifer's voice hardened. People who steal from elderly family members think they're safe because victims are often too ashamed or confused to fight back. They're wrong. Benjamin Parker agreed to meet me the following Tuesday at a diner near Timothy's main office. He was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with the careful manner of someone who dealt with other people's money all day. Mr. Coleman, I want you to know this situation has been bothering me for months. Something didn't feel right about those transfers. He spread photocopied bank records across the sticky diner table. 8 monthly transfers, $5,000 each, all going to an account listed under Harold Coleman, but not my account. Look at this. Benjamin pointed to a signature on the account opening documents. This is supposed to be your signature authorizing the account. Does this look like your handwriting? I studied the signature. It was close, but not quite right. The H in Harold was too fancy, and I always made my C in Coleman with a little curl that wasn't there. That's not my signature. I figured as much. I also found something else. Benjamin pulled out credit card statements. Your daughter-in-law has been using the company business card for personal expenses. Spa treatments, shopping, restaurants. Look at this, minus $100 at some place called Serenity Day Spa in Houston. I stared at the receipts. While I'd been eating church-donated canned soup, Michelle had been getting spa treatments that cost more than my monthly Social Security check. How much total? Between the stolen support payments and unauthorized business expenses. About $65,000 over the past year. That number hit me like a physical blow. $65,000, more money than Sarah and I had ever seen at one time in our entire lives. Mr. Parker, can you get me copies of all this? Already made them for you. He handed me a thick manila envelope. Mr. Coleman, your son's a good man. but he's been taken for a ride. Michelle's got him convinced she's handling everything properly while she's robbing both of you blind. Back home, I opened a new notebook and started documenting everything, just like Jennifer had instructed. I wrote down every detail I could remember about Michelle's visits over the past months, what she wore, what she said, whether she brought anything. The pattern was obvious once I laid it out. Michelle had visited maybe 6 times in 8 months, always wearing expensive new clothes, always with some excuse about why she couldn't stay long. Never once had she brought an envelope, a check, or even mentioned money. 2 days later, she showed up unannounced. I was watering my tomatoes when I heard the car in the driveway. Michelle's white Mercedes, so clean it looked like it had just rolled off the lot. She climbed out wearing a yellow sundress and sandals that probably cost more than my water bill. "Dad, I brought you some cookies from that bakery you like downtown." She held up a small white box tied with ribbon. I turned off the hose and looked at her. Really looked at her. The manicured nails, the professional highlights in her hair, the diamond earrings catching the afternoon sun. "That's thoughtful, Michelle. Did you bring the money too?" Her smile flickered for just a second. "What money?" "The $5,000 Timothy sends every month. You know, the money you told him you've been bringing me." "Oh, that." She laughed, but it sounded forced. "I deposited it directly into your account this time. More secure that way." I nodded slowly. "Which account would that be?" "Your regular account, of course." "At First Texas Bank?" "Yes, that one." I smiled. "Funny thing about that, Michelle, I was just at First Texas Bank yesterday. They don't show any deposits from you ever." The color drained from her face like someone had pulled a plug. The cookies slipped from her hand, the white box landing in the dirt beside my tomato plants. "There must be some mistake," she stammered. "Banking systems get confused sometimes." "No mistake." I pulled the envelope of documents from my back pocket. "Want to explain why there's a bank account opened under my name that I never authorized? Want to tell me why you've been stealing my support money while I ate donated food?" Michelle's perfect composure cracked like thin ice. She backed toward her car, her expensive sandals slipping on the gravel. "You don't understand," she said, her voice rising. "It's complicated." I was going to explain everything. "Explain it to the police," I said quietly, "and explain it to Timothy when he finds out what kind of woman he married." She got in the Mercedes and drove away fast enough to spray gravel across my driveway. The white cookie box lay crushed in the dirt, its ribbon trailing in the dust like a broken promise. That evening, Timothy called. His voice sounded hollow, like someone had kicked the wind out of him. "Dad, Michelle told me you accused her of stealing. She's very upset." "I didn't accuse her of anything, son. I showed her the bank records." A long pause. "What bank records? The ones that prove she's been taking your money for 8 months. The ones that show she opened a fake account using my name. The ones your accountant, Benjamin Parker, copied for me." Another pause, longer this time. "I'm coming over." Timothy arrived an hour later, but not with Michelle. He sat at my kitchen table while I spread out all the evidence Jennifer and Benjamin had helped me gather. Bank statements, transfer records, credit card receipts, the forged signature documents. His face went through a whole range of emotions as he read confusion, disbelief, anger, and finally something that looked like grief. $65,000, he said quietly. "She stole $65,000 from both of us, son." He looked up at me, and for a moment I saw the little boy who used to help me in the garage, the kid who thought his dad could fix anything. "I'm so sorry, Dad. I thought I was taking care of you," I thought. His voice cracked. "How could I have been so stupid?" "You weren't stupid, you trusted your wife." "That's what you're supposed to do?" We called Jennifer Anderson together. She listened while Timothy went through the evidence, asking him direct questions about his knowledge of the transactions. "Mr. Coleman, Timothy, I need to know if you want to pursue criminal charges or handle this as a civil matter." Timothy looked at me. "Dad, it's your call." "Criminal charges," I said without hesitation. "If we don't stop her, she'll do this to someone else's family." The legal proceedings moved faster than I expected. Jennifer filed a complaint for elder financial abuse, identity theft, and fraud. The district attorney's office took the case seriously. Apparently, they'd been seeing more and more of these family exploitation cases. Michelle hired her own lawyer, but the evidence was overwhelming. Faced with certain conviction and possible jail time, she agreed to a plea deal. Full restitution plus penalties, supervised probation, and mandatory financial counseling. But the money wasn't the important part anymore. 2 weeks after the legal settlement, Timothy stopped by on a Saturday morning. He looked different, older, maybe, but more solid somehow. Dad, I want to ask you something. What would you think about starting a foundation together? Something to help other seniors who've been taken advantage of by their families. I poured him a cup of coffee and sat down across from him. Tell me more. I've been reading about elder financial abuse. It happens to thousands of families every year. Most victims never get justice because they're too ashamed to report it, or they don't know how to fight back. He pulled out a folder. I want to use some of my business profits to fund legal help for seniors. Free consultations, document preparation, maybe even a hotline. That's how the Coleman Foundation for Elder Financial Protection started. We opened our first office in a small building near downtown Dallas, with Jennifer Anderson as our legal director and Benjamin Parker handling the financial oversight. Our first case was an 82-year-old veteran whose grandson had been forging checks from his disability account. The second was a widow whose helpful neighbor had talked her into signing over power of attorney, then cleaned out her savings. Within 6 months, we were handling 20 cases. Within a year, we'd helped recover over $500,000 for seniors across Texas and prevented countless other thefts through education and early warning systems. Timothy threw himself into the foundation work like a man making up for lost time. He donated equipment, office space, even some of his construction crews to help elderly victims with home repairs they couldn't afford after being robbed. As for Michelle, she disappeared after the settlement. Word was she'd moved to California, probably looking for her next opportunity. I felt sorry for whoever trusted her next. The foundation grew beyond anything I'd imagined. We expanded to San Antonio, then Houston, then Austin. Other states started calling, asking how to set up similar programs. Timothy hired a full-time staff and bought a building specifically for the foundation offices. But the best part wasn't the size or the recognition we got from various civic groups, it was the individual victories. Like the 75-year-old teacher who got back $40,000 her daughter had stolen from her pension. Or the 80-year-old farmer who stopped a phone scam that would have cost him his land. Every success reminded me of those 8 months when I ate church soup and counted pennies while my support money paid for someone else's spa treatments. The helpless feeling, the doubt about my own memory, the shame of being considered a burden. No one should go through that. And if our foundation had anything to say about it, fewer people would. Timothy and I are closer now than we've been since Sarah died. He comes by every Sunday, brings lunch, and we work on foundation business together. Sometimes we just sit in the garage and remember better times when the family meant what it was supposed to mean. He's dating someone new, a kindergarten teacher named Carol who volunteers at the foundation on weekends. She brings homemade cookies to the office and actually listens when the elderly clients tell their stories. She treats me with respect, not like some old man who needs to be managed. I still live in the same house, still tend the same garden where I confronted Michelle that day, but everything feels different now. I'm not just surviving anymore, I'm fighting back and winning. Every month, we get dozens of calls from families dealing with financial abuse. Adult children stealing inheritance money, caretakers forging checks, relatives pressuring seniors to loan money that never gets repaid. The stories break your heart, but the victories rebuild it. If you're listening to this story, maybe sitting in your own quiet house tonight, I want you to know something important. If you've faced betrayal from someone you trusted, if you've been taken advantage of because people thought you were too old or weak to fight back, you're not alone. Age doesn't make you powerless. Experience makes you dangerous to people who count on silence and shame. And sometimes the best way to heal from being victimized is to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else. Don't let anyone convince you that family loyalty means accepting abuse. Real family protects each other. They don't exploit trust for personal gain. If someone in your family is taking advantage of you financially, get help. Call the authorities, contact an elder law attorney, reach out to people who will listen. Your story matters, your dignity matters, and you have more power than you think.